Here's just a little garden update today. This is what I call my Cedar Hill beds because they're under these two cedar trees. And I have been kind of leaving these to themselves because the ticks under this tree, I have come to know personally, are bad under these trees. So I don't come up here often. I'm kind of leaving them to themselves a lot. But this is my potatoes. They're doing good. And I have a few bush beans that I planted around the potatoes that's coming up. And I've got corn, nasturtiums, and a squash there that are doing okay. And then over here, I had some zinnias planted and a couple of Holy Land tomatoes. But I did a whole pack of shade loving wildflowers in this bed since I wasn't coming up here to check on it a lot. But when I come to check on it today, I think I have a Holy Land tomato that actually is coming up. I had planted some seeds there, so they are coming up. That one is anyway. So I may have a Holy Land tomato here. So this is my Cedar Hill beds. We have a little area behind this garage that is what I call my garage beds. And I have a yellow squash here that I am trying to train up the trellis so that it gets more airflow. And I have some squash on there if they get pollinated. Have some corn coming up here, some nasturtiums. I have some volunteer marigolds back there. I have some volunteer marigolds from this cinder block. I have planted some sunflowers around that cinder block and inside the cinder block. And I brought some of my snapdragons down here to transplant to see if they take root. And here I have got some okra and some zinnias in the back, giant zinnias. I have two Holy Land tomatoes, one on each side there. Some okra, that volunteer marigold. I have more sunflowers planted in between the beds with snapdragons. I have a marigold here and a cucumber here, and I have corn planted all around this bed, and just a little strip of wildflowers right there in the front of this bed. I think it's supposed to be some kind of a painted daisy. So I've got some of those sown right there in front of the cucumber. And these little pots, I've got some wildflower, what they call little wildflower rockets planted. I've got another Holy Land tomato right there that I need to transplant somewhere. So that's my garage beds. At the side of the garage, I have got some more sunflowers planted here. So this whole side of this garage hopefully will be blue, strawberry, yellow, mammoth, all kinds of sunflowers just right here coming up. So I hope that's going to be a pretty little spot right here at the side of the building. These are my front flower beds that I have planted. Some calabracoa, some lobelia, some petunias, and I have some cosmos right in the middle of each one of these, and they will grow up to be about 3 feet yellow-orange flowers that the butterflies and hummingbirds will love. So I've got those there. I've got the same in all of these barrels out here. Got a little mini rose bush here and some potted plants. Like I said, all of the barrels have got, this is some salvia in the back, more petunias. I've got another cosmos coming up there. Got some coleus coming back that I saved from last year. Some pretty petunia, calabracoa baskets here. I've got some 4 o'clocks planted in that little pot. And I've got some lavender planted on each side of this. Some salvia in the back. Calabracoa, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, in the front. And there's beautiful cosmos. And these calabracoa, they're like a mini petunia. They're also called million bells, and they're good to just kind of cascade over your barrels and things. So there's another one of those, and this is like a pretty butterfly mix that the butterflies will love, and another one of my barrels, and 4 o'clocks again, and more coleus over there. So this is my front beds. And it is coming along nicely, I think. It's my pretty petunia at the side of the house. I have my little planters here that have had these really pretty pansies in them, but the pansies, as it begins to get hotter, they're going to sort of wilt. I've got some strawberries coming up in the top of there too that I had last year coming up. I've got some marigolds coming up. So I'm going to have to probably add some new things. Like I've added a nasturtium here that will hopefully bloom and kind of climb and spill over that. So just, we'll have to replace the pansies as they get a little along in the season there. This is behind the carport, right at the back of the house. And I have this beefsteak tomato here. In this container, I have some marigolds coming up in the container. I have some nasturtiums I've planted. And I think I have one blue sunflower coming up back there. I have some dahlias and hollyhocks planted back here. I don't know. They have not emerged yet. I have got a Shasta daisy right there next to the pole. I have got a volunteer sunflower here. I have got a 4 o'clock coming up there. That is my heat-loving poinsettia. I bring him out every summer. I have some zinnias growing back there in the back. I have some more daisies. This little miniature rose bush here that I bought for little or nothing. He was really looking bad last year, and they were just almost giving him away. So I planted him. He's doing well this year. Snapdragons. I still have broccoli, cabbage. I have some chrysanthemums back there in a pot that I need to put in the ground. I have more broccoli here. I've got carrots and onions also planted in this bed, and zinnias. Another nice broccoli there. I've got a little cherry tomato here, and a nasturtium and a marigold there. Nice cabbage head there coming up. I've got some mountain beans up in there. I've got some okra planted in there. And this is a verbena flower and another cabbage. Over here we have got a cucumber, and I have just put some diatomaceous earth on there. It's all natural. I don't use anything like Seven Dust or anything chemical related on my plants. But that's a cucumber, and then I have another super sweet 100 cherry tomato, and then these are sweet potatoes. I've got some dill back there, some cosmos, like I said, that will grow up about 3 feet tall. Beautiful yellow blooms that the hummingbirds and butterflies love. Got some basil back here. I have got some zinnias. Pest, bugs, hate basil, dill, rosemary, anything that is scented, like chives, garlic, onions, anything like that. I've got some peppers. This is supposed to be a chocolate beauty pepper. Again, I've just dusted it with diatomaceous earth. I have some okra. I have Holy Land tomato there, basil, Holy Land tomato, marigold, again to deter pests, and some more zinnias in the back just for added beauty. In between these beds, every one of them, I have some gladiolas planted. I hope they sprout soon and show their lovely faces. Have another squash here. Have some peppers here. Purple basil there. Have another Holy Land tomato right there. And okra and zinnia seeds in these beds. So these are the new 3 beds that I made this year that I added. And then these 3 were my first ever beds that I ever did about 3 years ago. So now let's go to the trellis. So here we are at the trellis, still a work in progress. Still working on a few things, like a little more mulch and such. I have got beans that are climbing nicely. In these 2 little pots, I've got some petunias and some snapdragons there. So I have my little balloon lanterns that light up at night. And I've got these little stake lights that also light up at nights that just kind of line the beds. They're really pretty at night. And I've got one over here, another planter, some more calabarcoa that's spilling over the side, another beautiful cosmos. It'll be beautiful yellow hummingbird attractors. There's another snapdragon. So over here is a sunflower area, sunflowers and wildflowers. We have a little patch of corn there. We have a patch of okra behind it. We have some yarrow planted back there where the little waste baskets are, and a pumpkin. And behind that, where the other baskets are, is another sunflower patch. Hopefully all this will be covered in sunflowers and vegetables and wildflowers very, very soon. Should be very pretty. Should be flowers on both sides of the trellis, plus the vegetables on the trellis and in the middle. Some herbs also. So as you can see, my beans are climbing nicely. These are red ribbon beans that are climbing. They're looking really, really pretty. And I have some peas. These are my peas that are doing well also and climbing up there. And we have more beans on this side, more peas and red ribbon beans here. Here we have mountain beans and peas climbing. We have a nice yellow squash here. And let's see what else. I have got another yellow, no, it's a green zucchini squash that I've got to plant down there in the middle bed, and some rosemary tomorrow. I have things like 4 o'clocks and coneflowers planted around the back edge. I have dahlias that are planted in between the beds that are beautiful, beautiful dahlias. And so I have a Cherokee purple tomato there. And I have zinnias planted on the ends of these beds. And I do have some cosmos planted in there as well. Over on this side, as you can see, I've still got some really pretty peas. Here's a really pretty pea plant. And there's another one. So the peas and the beans are climbing well. I have some mint there in a pot because, like I said, the bug pests hate things like mint and things like that. There's my little bird bath fountain. More seeds planted here, more wildflowers here. I have a little watermelon hill there. There's one of my dahlias coming up. There's a cosmos that's looking really good. A Holy Land tomato right there with a marigold. We have basil and another cherry tomato here. We have okra here, wildflowers here, another watermelon there, and my corn, some corn coming up. We have some, there's another dahlia. We have our snapdragons. We have more dill. Next to our tomato, this is a lemon yellow boy tomato, another marigold. I almost called it a nasturtium. And then we have some lantana, which the butterflies will love. More calabarcoa, which is very beautiful. And it's just, these are all very hardy summer plants. So far so good. The little garden's doing well. And as always, this is probably longer than I meant it to be, but you can see here all of the sunflowers that I have coming up here in this little wildflower area. And I just sowed this with all kinds of sunflowers. I've got blue ones. I've got the ones that make the multi-face, what I call sunflower trees, the sunnies, which get really big, the teddy bear fluffy ones, some autumn beauties. So I've got a lot of sunflowers planted there. So the vision is for flowers and vegetables on both sides of the trellis, a walkway in between the trellis, the walkway underneath, and then on the other side the same, flowers on the inside and the outside of the trellis. Have some coleus that I actually nurtured in my kitchen window all winter long, and then I transplanted those out here in my garden, given to me by a sweet friend, and I salvaged the coleus and the potted planted ones that I got the cuttings from, I cut them way back and they are resprouting as well. So right now it's still looking rough, but it will be beautiful hopefully very soon, and it is coming along. So hope you've enjoyed this little garden tour, friends. Till next time. Here's the other sunflower patch and wildflower area in the back. So I have some really good sunflowers coming up right there. And I have some butterfly milkweed that I'm starting from seeds down there.